I found my son sleeping in his car at sunrise. That was the moment I knew this had gone far beyond money. The sky was gray, the air was cold, and the headlights cast just enough light to show me everything I needed to see. He was slumped in the driver's seat, exhausted even in sleep. In the back, my grandkids were curled up under blankets with their backpacks beside them. Quiet, careful, the way children get when life teaches them too early not to ask questions. I knocked once on the window. Soft. Controlled. He woke up instantly, like someone who had been bracing for bad news even while asleep. I looked at him and asked, "Where is the $300,000? Not because I cared more about the money than my son, but because I already knew that if he had lost that money, he had lost far more than that. He stared at the steering wheel for a long second before he finally said it. I invested it in the startup. Then came the rest. His wife, her family, the accounts, the pressure, and then the word that changed everything. They said I'm mentally unstable. That word hit me harder than the number ever could, because when people want control, they don't always take things by force. Sometimes they take credibility first. Sometimes they make you look unreliable, emotional, unfit, and once they do that, they think they can take everything else without resistance. I felt my anger rise instantly, but anger wasn't what we needed. We needed precision. So I looked at my son and said, "Pack your things. We're fixing this now." I still remember the first time I met his wife. She was polished, careful, warm in a way that felt slightly delayed, like she had studied how to be convincing. I wanted to believe she loved him. I wanted to believe she would protect what they were building together. And when my son came to me with his startup dream, I believed in that too. I wired him the money with one note. Build something that lasts. I meant the company. I didn't realize I was also helping create something other people would try to take. At first, the business looked promising. Clean numbers. A strong pitch. Real potential. My son worked nonstop, like someone trying to outrun disappointment through effort alone. But then things started to shift. Meetings got moved without explanation. Decisions were delayed, then made without him. He stopped calling me with updates and started calling me with apologies. And that's when I knew something was very wrong. Because people only start apologizing for their own lives when someone else has convinced them they need permission to live them. So I started watching. And once I looked closely, the pattern was impossible to ignore. Accounts were being consolidated for convenience. A new attorney appeared. All charm, no warmth. The twins' school communications were rerouted. And then I received a message that was never meant for me. One sentence. Sent by mistake. If he pushes back, we proceed with the evaluation. No signature. No explanation. None needed. That told me everything. This wasn't family conflict. This was strategy. They were building a case around him while pretending to care about him. Financial control disguised as support. Legal pressure disguised as concern. A slow, polished effort to make him look unstable while they took over everything around him. I didn't confront anyone. Not yet. When people think they're in control, they get careless. So I listened. I copied. I documented. I waited. Because if someone is trying to write your story for you, the smartest thing you can do is read the whole script before you respond. I called 3 people. A forensic accountant who has no patience for financial games. A custody attorney who does not lose focus when children are involved. And a psychiatrist who understands the difference between actual mental illness and convenient accusation. I didn't tell my son everything right away. Hope is delicate when someone has been torn down long enough. I needed facts before I gave him hope. So we rebuilt the timeline. Every transfer, every account, every family loan that wasn't really a loan, every shell company hidden behind soft, harmless names. The money hadn't just disappeared. It had been moved deliberately, layered, redirected, protected. Then we pulled the communications, emails, approvals, overrides, changes made after signatures, IP logs, timestamps. The deeper we went, the clearer it became. They hadn't just taken control of his business. They were trying to take control of his life. So we moved carefully. First, we made sure the twins were safe. No drama, no spectacle, just quiet legal steps and temporary protections based on documented concern. That move rattled them. And when people panic, they make mistakes. Sure enough, they pushed harder for the mental health evaluation. Perfect. We agreed immediately. Because unlike them, we weren't afraid of the truth. My son showed up rested, prepared, and calm. No outbursts. No defensiveness. No chaos. Just facts. Just answers. Just a man under pressure, not a man detached from reality. The psychiatrist saw exactly what we already knew. Stress? Yes. Exhaustion? Absolutely. Instability? No. The report was clear, direct, and impossible to twist. That was the turning point. We filed. Accounts were frozen. Shell companies were subpoenaed. Financial records were pulled in full. And for the first time, the smiles on the other side started to disappear. In court, I sat behind my son and watched the truth do its work. There is a very specific shift that happens when a lie stops being protected. You can feel it in the room. The silence changes. The confidence drains. And suddenly, people who were once very comfortable become very careful. When the findings were read, everything changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, just completely. I waited until every legal protection was in place before I spoke to her directly. That mattered. Timing isn't hesitation. Timing is discipline. We met in a glass-walled conference room. Bright, exposed, nowhere to hide behind performance. I slid the binder across the table and said, "This is where it stops. Today." She tried to reach for the same word again. Unstable. I let her say it. Then I opened the binder. Bank records, email chains, evaluation results, custody orders, financial timelines. Every page removed another layer of the story they had built. And as her family read through it, one by one, the room fell silent. Not confused, not defensive, silent in the way people get when they realize they are no longer in control of the narrative. The money came back in stages. The company was restructured. Custody was stabilized. And the apologies eventually arrived too. We didn't need them. We didn't do all of this for apologies. We did it for truth. We did it so my son could sleep in a real bed again. We did it so my grandkids could go back to being children instead of witnesses. That first morning after everything shifted, the twins argued over cereal. And I can't explain it, but that sound meant more to me than any court order ever could. Because peace is never just about winning. It's about restoring what should have never been taken in the first place. When I think back to that parking lot now, I don't remember rage. I remember clarity. I remember choosing control over chaos. I remember that justice doesn't always arrive with shouting. Sometimes it arrives in documents, in patience, in timing, and when it's done right, it lasts. If you've ever watched someone you love get pushed to the edge, remember this. Calm is not surrender, and truth does not need to be loud to be powerful. If this story moved you, comment, and subscribe for more real stories about betrayal, resilience, and reclaiming what matters most.